it's me, Rama, and this is part 2 of how to use my Rama melee plugin. We now have the character in-game, swinging the weapon. We set up the different parts that do damage, but we can't do damage yet because we're not telling the weapon when to trace, so we have to set that system up now. So going into your own character that you have, the only thing we've done so far is attach the Rama melee weapon to the character mesh. Using snap to target includes scaling. Step 2 is to bind the delegate for the hit event. So we go over here, drag off from the component, say bind, then type on hit, and you'll see bind event to Rama melee weapon on hit. Now we need to, that gives us this, we have to plug that in so it runs, and this has to run on begin play, it only needs to run once. We need to bind the event. Now let's create the event. Add event, and this is weapon hit. So again, drag off from the red and then say weapon hit, and that gives you all sorts of lovely info. This is my custom event that gets fired off every time the weapon hits something while you're telling it to trace and interact with the environment. You can know which actor you hit, which component of the actor, like their capsule or their mesh, or a component like a shield, the impact point, impact normal, this is the deflection point, the angle of the surface at the point of impact, and then there's the hit bone, which, if you want per bone accuracy, what bone of the character did you hit? Alright, and then there's the entire hit result, which you can then break and get that information and more information as well. But I give you all the core bits here, so you don't have to break the hit result if you don't want to. Alright, so now we've bound the hit event. For now, the only thing we're going to do is I want to know which bone we hit. So let's do print string. Actually, I don't want to know what bone, I just want to know what component. So you say component get display to get the display name. And let's print out which component we hit, change the color to yellow, and connect that. Alright, so now when this weapon hits something, this is all part of my plugin, this Rama melee weapon. When this weapon hits something, it's going to print out which component it hit of the actor that it hit. Alright, now we have to create two custom events to start and stop swing damage. Let's type in custom event, and we need swing start, and let's duplicate that, and Control C, Control V, and then F2 to change the name, swing end. Alright, so we need to know when to start and when to stop, and when we're told to start, we're going to tell the axe to start doing swing damage. Swing, see here, Rama melee weapon, start swing damage. And we need the same thing for stop damage. Stop, or end swing damage. No, actually it's stop swing damage here. Rama melee weapon, stop swing damage. Okay. So we plug those two in, and at the moment that's all we're going to do. Now at the moment we're specifying the component exactly. When the character can wield multiple weapons, you're going to want to create a variable of the type Rama melee weapon, and then you'll just do that for in fact, let's do that now. Just so that you can have it for future use, make a new variable, and the type of this variable is going to be the my melee weapon. So Rama melee weapon object reference, and compile, and this is going to be called current weapon. So whatever our current weapon is, you can close, I'll just leave it. Whatever our current weapon is, I can't see, it's too cramped. Let's drag that in, get it, and we're going to plug that in as our target instead. Because when you can have multiple weapons, you're just going to want to do whichever weapon is current. Now, on begin play, we need to specify that the default weapon is our axe, because that's what we're currently using. So we're going to set it. By the way, you can hold down Alt and then drag out to automatically set, and Control to get, like that. Alright, so we're going to use this axe. So our default weapon is going to be our axe. And in this way, we'll always know, whichever weapon is the current weapon, when you have more than one weapon, when you run these events, it's going to use whichever weapon is currently active, just to simplify the code there. This again is for playing the animation montages. So we need swing start, swing end. Now we need to call these in our animations to tell them when to start and stop. So let's actually head over to our animation blueprint. In our animation blueprint, in the event graph, we need to add the Anim Notifies. Now we have to make them first, and for that we have to head over to the animations themselves. So wherever the animations are for your character, find the animations that you're using. Here I'm using player sprint attack, but I'm using a montage. So here's the sprint attack montage. I took all of this from the Epic VR demo. These are their assets and their animations. Very thankful they let us use them in our projects. It's very helpful indeed. So this attack shouldn't be tracing the whole time. There's this wind-up period. That's right here. You shouldn't be tracing for damage because it's just a wind-up. Even all the way over here, it's not even really begun until right about now. And then after that, that's about the completion of the momentum. That entire wind down shouldn't be traced at all. You shouldn't be doing damage during that time. So using my system, you can have animation accurate damage as well. So right about there. Right about there. I think I'll go with that. With right there, now we have to add in the event. So you go into, not here, down to notifies. We're going to add in the notify. And I happen to have already made them, but if you haven't, you can make a new notify like this. But I'm going to use the ones I already have. I have swing start, and then I go over and right about, let's see, right about there. That's going to be swing end. So notice, look at this graph here. Hold on. What's it saying? Oh, it's clicking on the existing one. Alright, I'm going to have to add it over here and then move it. So add in swing end, but I'm going to drag it over here. Alright, so notice how small this interval is on the entire animation timeline. It's just that small interval. So using my system, you can really precisely control when damage occurs using this setup. Alright, so we have the animation notifies on that one. I already made the animation notifies for the other one, for the swing too. See, I do it, let's see, where is it? See, I have swing start and swing end right at the very end there. So now we need to go into our animation blueprint. So we just set up the Anim Notifies. Now in the event graph for the animation blueprint, here's the animation blueprint. In the event graph, you right click, you say add Anim Notify, and we need swing start and swing end. Here's swing start, and we also need swing end. And now we need to get the pawn, try get pawn owner, and we have to cast it to our class, our character class, which in this case is Knight Tutorial BP. And then same thing over here. And then we have to call the event that we just made, the custom event, swing start. And then call swing end. Alright, and that's all. So now using this setup in your animation blueprint, you can precisely control when damage occurs, which gives you absolute and total control over the entire process. Now let's see if that worked. So see how we do that. See how I'm drawing that arc now. That tiny time frame, that's when that whole wide arc occurs, right there. And then we have the other, I still have the other one here. So look, it works. Oh, let's go try to whack something. It's a little hard when that has that what's that called? Root motion. The root motion makes it hard because she's knocking the grill over the place. Is there any way I can do this? Ah, I did it! So notice we're hitting the collision cylinder. Saw that? How it said collision cylinder? Man, this is going to be a hard demo. I'm going to use this one instead. So it's saying collision cylinder, right? Because we told it that we wanted to use the pawn class, the pawn object channel.